So example 2 is going to continue looking at Zorzanza's profit. And this time, though, we have an example that's already been worked out for us. So we have this worked example that's talking about average rate of change, all right, and it's giving a specific time interval. So 3.25 to 4.25. Now remember, these are years. So from 3.25 years to 4.25 years. This is over a 1 year period if you look at the whole time then. We substitute the values. Here's our little slope formula. They substitute in. So at 4.25 years, there is no profit. At 3.25 years, it's negative $600,000. Okay, that's fine. And so we do the math here, and we end up with positive 600. So from this little dot here to this little dot here, the average rate of change is 600. So the sentence at the end says the average rate of change for that time interval is approximately $600,000 per year. And the very first question says, explain why the average rate of change is $600,000 per year and not $600 per year. And it's very simply, all right, so let's go over here. The Y values represent profit in thousands of dollars. Okay, and that's, it was labeled on the y-axis, so this isn't something that I made up. This is labeled right here, right? Thousands of dollars. So that's how we know it, okay? Explain why the average rate of change is positive over this interval. Well, if I look and I play connect the dots here, all right, that graph, right, the graph is increasing from left to right. And if your graph is increasing, that means you have a positive average rate of change. If your graph is decreasing from left to right, you have a negative average rate of change, okay? What does the average rate of change represent in this problem situation? Well, it would be very specifically the company's profit is increasing by an average of $600,000 per year during this interval, okay? Now, obviously, if we look at our graph, we know that that slope is not going to be the same thing across the entirety of this graph. And so if I picked two other points, I could possibly get that same average rate of change, but it's not likely to happen all the time, okay? Now, we're given a time period, all right? And I'm going to go in here. I'm going to erase this little blue line I had marked originally, just because I don't want to goof it up with anything else. Okay, so we are told to find the average rate of change for profits for the time interval 1 to 3. All right, so here's 1, and then here's 3. And so I want to come up here and figure out this high point here for 1. So let's say it's 1 comma, let's approximate it as 300. Okay, and again, these are approximations, but make them be reasonable. So 3, and then I know there's going to be negative, it's looking like a negative 600-ish, okay? And so to find our average rate of change, we are going to take one of our y values, okay, subtract the other y value. Now, the order that you do this won't matter, but you need to now stay consistent. So 300 came from this first ordered pair, so I have to now start with 1 minus 3 here. So 300 minus negative 600 is going to be 900. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 900 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 450. Okay, so that would be our actual average rate of change for that interval of time. Now, there's another part to this which says explain what your previous answer, so in this case, this negative 450, means in the context of this problem. So we're going to explain it. The negative 450 means that our profits are decreasing, which means we're losing money. And this is now per year because our time is in years, okay? So there's a bunch of different ways you can write this, but you want to make sure you include all the information. So from year 1 to year 3, okay, because it's interval 1 to 3, the company was losing an average of $450,000 per year. Okay, so from year 1 to year 3, the company was losing an average of $450,000 per year. Now, you do not have to tell me they were losing negative $450,000. By telling me they were losing money, that's already including the negative part that came from this information. All right, so that's example number 2. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here, and we'll put the next example in its own video. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns.